And away we go. Good morning, everybody. A little hip-hop vibe today. How you doing? Happy Thursday. Known as FTG Thursday around these parts, but I don't know. You can say it if you want. There's plenty of them to go around. But last night, that happened. The 4/5 of the debate. We'll talk a little bit about that. Got some articles courtesy of Gunfox, who's already, Gunfox, you are already the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day, because I knew that was coming. And so we're going to talk about a lot of stuff today, and no particular order, other than making sure we get Gunfox's articles in, which are all actually the three that I was already considering anyway, and I'm glad you actually put them on the board, because I had to go look for them if I didn't. So there we go. We're gonna have another great show. Are you ready? I'm actually close to being on time today. Look at this. I'm almost on time. Thank you, everyone's tweeting out the show too. So anyway, shall we start this thing? I think so. Johnny, turn that off and play the intro. Thank you again, Gunfox.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
That is, in fact, me, the guy about to show up on your screen. Well, I'm already on your screen, but here's my face. Hello. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. And welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel on this Thursday, the 7th of December, 2023. It is Pearl Harbor Day, a day where, well, the day that shall live in infamy, and also just a day that we have solemn thoughts about things that happen in the world. And the end of summer this year, I got a chance to go to Pearl Harbor. It's an amazing place. Just showing the history of what happened there, and a lot of the Pacific Theater history, things to see. Went and saw the USS Missouri, where they signed the end of the war, signing the, what do you call it? The end of the war, hostilities. They signed the treaty, whatever. And went and saw the Arizona Memorial, some subs, went on in a submarine, went all over the place. It was really just an amazing place. It's basically turned into a museum now. Although it is also still an active base too. So there's certain restrictions and things, what you do when you're there. But anyway, it was really wild, and we'll get into that. We got all kinds of stuff going on, but let's say hi to everybody first. Thank you again, Gunfox. Dropping 3 Hamiltons in the chip jar. You are already the new Streamlabs.
You are the new Streamlabs
Superstar of the day. So anyway, let's say hi to everybody and get this thing going. First in the chat over on Rumble, of course, it is Avocados Diablo who gets the bell. Whoops. I'm just doing all kinds of things. I'm trying to figure out how this works. I don't know what the hell happened there. Also, good morning, Jimmy Dawes Hotep. Hotep Nation. Excuse me. Oh, I don't have a mute button. Also, good morning, Mr. Scott. Good to see you back, my friend. It's been a while. Sully's in the house, 209. Special Emissary. That's a name we don't see as much as I'd like to. Great. Thank you for being here. And that's everybody on Rumble right now. I'm sure there's more, but let's see. In fact, I always look and it says there's 12, and I'm one of the 12 because I have a window open. So it's good morning, everyone who's watching on Rumble. Good on YouTube. First in the chat is also Mr. Avocados Diablo, who gets the bell. The crowd goes wild. Also, good morning. Special K on Acid, Darren Root, Gunfox 61, our our Discord administrator. Good morning, Big Dave. Welcome back. Nice to see you again. Renee Mayette, Attack Alpaca. Tyler F's in the house. Good morning, Colleen Bernier. What's up? Also, hello to, let's see. Oh, I just got to skip down a little bit. There's a lot of names right up the front. Got here early. Simon Wolfwood's in the house. And that looks like all the people who are at least there now. I know the notifications are still going out and whatnot. But go ahead and hit the like button if you already know. I mean, you already know. Come on. How can you not? How can you not like what we do here? It's a prerequisite. You just gotta be here to like it to be here or something like that. Anyway, GDSOB's in the house. Nice to see you. Buongiorno, all you beautiful fuckers. He says, Attack Alpaca's here. Did I already say Attack Alpaca? Yeah, you're already here. Anyway, so let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Now, the special day today, because every day is a special day, but there's always something going on. Apparently, today is the feast of St. Ambrose. Now, I'm not really sure what that is because I'm not Catholic and I'm not really all up into the saints and stuff, but that is trending, and that's what we do here. St. Ambrose, so there's the Church of St. Ambrose in Paris right there. Earth's main training ground, heaven his crown, whatever that means. Okay, here we go. The servants of Christ are protected by invisible rather than visible beings, but if these guard you, they do so because they have been summoned by your prayer. That's something that St. Ambrose says. Does anyone know what this feast of St. Ambrose is? I'm scrolling slowly just so I don't get any inadvertent butts or boobs. St. Ambrose says, Christ himself is our mouth through which we speak to the Father, our eye through which we see the Father, our right hand through which we offer to the Father. Without his intercession, neither we nor all the saints have anything with God. Okay. So anyway, it's the Feast of St. Ambrose, and I don't know what it means. So, there you go. The Feast of St. Ambrose today. All right. There you go. That's our special day. Just make sure nobody else showed up here. So, the Weeping Angel angle? What? I don't know. St. Amber Turd. No, not Amber. It's not St. Amber Turd Day. Good morning, Sure You Gospel. Welcome. Hello. Okay, so but obviously the bigger thing that's today that we commemorate in the United States of America is Pearl Harbor. It's been 82 years that the attack on Pearl Harbor happened. Bearded Vet here, who does some really great coffee products, if you ever follow Bearded Vet on Twitter. Today, remember those who gave their lives at Pearl Harbor 82 years ago. We're eternally grateful and will forever honor their memory. And if you've ever been there, it's a solemn place. Boy, I tell you what, the Arizona Memorial, this thing right here, you have to take a ferry out to it, and the ship is still visible, in the water. And then they have this one wall with all the names of those who perished. And it's just really wild. It truly is a solemn place. Hello, Amazing Disgrace, by the way. We pick and choose our saints depending on what our current need is. I see what I'm not, like I said, I'm not up on the saints. Anyway, Tim Scott, the senator from South Carolina, on Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day, we honor those who died in service to our country on that tragic day 82 years ago. Their memory will live on forever in the hearts and minds of Americans. He did two of these. He did one an hour ago and then one 55 minutes ago. A day that lives in infamy. 82 years ago today, our country was attacked at Pearl Harbor, and thousands of American service members tragically lost their lives. We love to remember the sacrifice the greatest generation made for our freedom. So I think one is under Senator Tim Scott, and one is Vote Tim Scott. I don't think he's running for president anymore. I think he suspended his campaign. So, and a lot of the same sentiments from everybody, though, 82 years ago. So anyway, if you are one to pray, say a prayer for the people who perished at Pearl Harbor. Basically, the attack that we may or may not have known was coming and got us into World War II. I don't really, I don't like to talk about that part of it though. We just honor those who perished, and we thank all servicemen, past, present, active, non-active, who have worked to protect our country. Moving on, and the trending topics today. Last night was the other. I had a name for this. What did I say it was? I said it's the other Republicans debate because it truly was a 4/5 debate last night, and so it was Vivek Ramaswamy, Chris Christie, who I still haven't figured out why he's still in the race, Nikki Haley, who we've learned is a bit of a war pig, and Ron DeSantis. And Ron DeSantis, I thought if you didn't watch the debate last night, we may show a clip or two. I really realize how much I really don't like Chris Christie anymore. I thought he was okay, but he's still basically he's a New Jersey Republican. You know what I mean? Like, New Jersey and New York Republicans, they're always a little suspect, and boy, is he sus. As the children would say, the kids would say, he's a sus. And his only purpose there is to bash Trump. And then Nikki Haley, apparently Nikki Haley's been moving up in the polls, and I think it's because the establishment people want Nikki Haley. I don't know why. I don't know. And she's not quite as bright as I used to think she was, at least from this debate. Then there's Vivek Ramaswamy, who was on fire the whole debate. He was the king of the king of the one-liners last night, and kind of ripping everyone to shreds. Although his wrath did not rub through Ron DeSantis as much, but they were all, here's the thing, they were all going after Nikki Haley. Well, no, Chris Christie wasn't. He was kind of white knighting Christie Haley. But the other ones were, DeSantis and Vivek were kind of going after Nikki Haley because all of a sudden she's rising in the polls. And then, of course, Ron DeSantis, who, he's a solid governor as far as I'm concerned, and I think he would make a good president. But it's going to be hard for any of them to make a dent. But here's the thing. So some people saying, oh, these debates with those four is a waste of time. I disagree. Because you never know. You never know how all this nonsense that, with Trump is going to go. You assume that whether he loses some of these cases or not, they'll be on appeal, but before the election, and Trump's still going to run for president. And a lot of people want him back. I tell you what, a lot of the brothers in the hood want him back. I know that the people in some of these cities where the sanctuary status has overwhelmed them want him back because they're like, because Joe Biden is asshole, and I tell you, it's just, but if something happens, could be one of these four people that are left that end up being the nominee. And I think if they run against Joe Biden, any of them beat Joe Biden. My concern is, not concern, but I don't necessarily believe that Joe Biden will still be in the race come July 2024, and they're gonna find a way to replace him. And I'll tell you what, all the drip, drip, drip of all his family business problems, that may do him in for all I know, for all you know. And I think like I said, I've said this before, I think he might pull a Lyndon Johnson and just drop out, even though the handlers seem to be keeping him propped up. So anyway, good morning, HP Lovecraft. What's up? Renee Mayette's in the house. Amazing Disgrace. Ravon Harris. Nice to have you all come to the show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So let's go. I'm going to go one by one of the participants last night who were at the debate. And we'll start in no particular order. We'll start with Ron DeSantis, okay? And we're just going to go on what people on Twitter are saying about the different candidates here. So here, now Max Nardo is a DeSantis staffer / advocate, okay? And he's saying, Ron DeSantis says BlackRock is doing some bad things. BlackRock, what about all the things we do that are not bad? It's the same as the Disney issue. We're not offended by fun kids movies or index fund investing. We're offended by pushing destructive regime of DEI and ASG because apparently they didn't like the fact that he called them out. And so BlackRock tweeted, BlackRock focuses on helping millions of Americans retire securely. We make decisions based on our clients' best interests, not political or ideological agendas. Bullshit. Demonizing law-abiding American companies undermines confidence in U.S. markets and leadership. Well, you guys got your dipping fingers into every kind of dip right now, and you kind of try to push agendas. And so now here's the interesting thing. Apparently, Ron DeSantis calls out Fox News for refusing to show that Nikki Haley and Chris Christie support gender transition surgeries for minors. Anyway, what is this? So now this is a poll. This is why they were all going after Nikki Haley. Apparently, in some interactive poll in North Carolina, okay, just the North Carolina GOP primary. So let's not get it twisted. I don't think this is a national poll, but in North Carolina, 2024 North Carolina GOP primary, Trump 63%, 50% over Nikki Haley at 13 and DeSantis at 10. So there are states where Nikki Haley is beating DeSantis in the primary. So that's probably why they're all going after her right now. Let's go to Mickey. Here's one. Let's see. Mickey and Kelly and Real Clear News were mocking Ron DeSantis' physical appearance in the post-debate spin room. They didn't know their mics were still on. Oh no! Oh no! This is not good. Let's see this real quick. Oh no! They were mocking Ron DeSantis. Didn't know their mics were still on. Here we go. Let's hear this.
So anyway, we have a little clip of some of the opening questions to them. Let's watch. We begin with the question of electability.
Here it is. Listen.
Governor DeSantis, your campaign and its super PAC have spent the most money, had the most high net worth donors, and had a wave of momentum coming into this race after your big re-election win in Florida.
Look at that face.
You were seen by many as the candidate most likely to consolidate the non-Trump field. But here we are, a month out from the first real votes, and you haven't managed to do it. Well, anyway.
So anyway, that's I got a feeling that there'll be some formal apologies from a couple people coming up. That's awesome. Let's see. Here's one of DeSantis clips. Here we go. Here's Ron DeSantis during this debate last night. Shoot, put it on the screen, Marty. There you go. All right, here's Ron DeSantis, one of his highlights.
It's not just terrorism, though. That's important. But look what's happened in Europe. You have more anti-Semitism in Germany than at any time since Adolf Hitler. Why? Because they imported mass numbers of people who reject their culture. Europe is committing suicide with the mass migration, and it's illegal and legal. Nikki Haley said the other day there should be no limits on legal immigration, and that corporate CEOs should set the policy on that. There needs to be limits on immigration, and we should not be importing people from cultures that are hostile. So, for example, I said with the Gaza, you had some of the squad wanted to import 300,000 people from the Gaza Strip. I said, no, we're not taking anyone from Gaza because of the anti-Semitism and because they reject American culture. So we've got to get smart about this. We cannot let the United States be like Europe. So
all right, so that was probably one of his, I don't know if that's his highlight or not, but that's a strong statement by Ron DeSantis. Let's see, there's something else on this one. Just a second, give me a second. Hello, Septus Wolf, by the way. And then also, well, we'll get to Vivek. Let's get another Ron DeSantis highlight here. Here's one. And then this is
Desk poll found that inflation tops the worry.
When they were talking about student loans. I don't know who these moderators were, but I just find this one a little bit unfortunate. But anyway, here's one more Ron DeSantis highlight. Oops. Here we go.
Governor DeSantis, the latest News Nation Decision Desk poll found that inflation tops the worries
Isn't it
of
weird?
American voters.
The way she said that, it sounded like the latest snooze nation. Because if you're not into presidential debates, this is definitely snooze nation. Even though it was a news nation debate, News Nation was hosting the debate. Anyway, here we go.
Governor DeSantis, the latest News Nation Decision Desk poll found that inflation tops the worries of American voters. 61% say they're very concerned, and the working class is hardest hit. Economists say this was fueled by a glut of federal spending. The Biden administration has added $6 trillion to the national debt so far, but President Trump wasn't exactly a penny pincher. His administration added $7.8 trillion. Do Republicans, including President Trump, share the blame for inflation? And what concrete steps would a President DeSantis take to help Americans make ends meet?
The borrowing, printing, and spending of money was both parties in Washington, D.C. That's just a fact. These Republicans in Washington have spent. It's driven your prices higher, and it's driven your interest rates to the point where you can't afford. I met a young fella in Iowa. He had graduated college a couple years ago, and he's like, Governor, I don't have a chance. I'm gainfully employed. He's like, I have no chance to afford a home and start a family. That is taking the American dream away from people. So we're going to get the inflation down. We're going to get the interest rates down. We are going to reduce spending. And I vetoed a lot as governor of Florida, and we'll do that. We're also going to open up all of our domestic energy for production. Lower your gas prices. Lower the price of fuel. That's going to help the economy. It also
drill, baby, drill.
Jobs,
is that a little drill, baby, drill thing there?
Burdening young people are these student loans. Now, I don't support having a truck driver having to pay a student loan for someone that got a degree in gender studies. That is wrong. We should not have taxpayers do that. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to get to the root cause of the problem. These student loans are going to be backed by the universities because they need to have an incentive to produce gainful employment.
Now, this is something I was saying the other day. Why not make the universities use their endowments?
On things that work, and we're going to take some of this money and we're going to move it to actual vocational training. In Florida, we doubled apprenticeships. We have more truck drivers. These are in-demand skills. Don't let anybody tell you that the only way you can be successful is through a 4-year brick and ivy degree. That's one way you can be. It's not the only way, and we're going to fix that problem in the United States of America.
I think that's a pretty strong answer. Okay, so there we go with Ron DeSantis. All right, let's move on because there were other people at that debate, and so the next one we'll talk about is Nikki Haley. And Nikki Haley had some issues. Nikki Haley, well, let's just say, no, wait, the Babylon Bee, wait a minute, hold on, you gotta see this. This is funny. The Babylon Bee went after Nikki Haley saying Nikki Haley stumped when debate moderator asked her to list some countries she wouldn't invade. Yeah, she was just wanted to bomb everybody. I don't understand it. Sticks Hexenhammer says, honestly, how does Nikki Haley have supporters? I've never encountered one anywhere on the net and can't think of one qualification she holds. How does she have a ground game when it apparently has refused to materialize anywhere outside of Iowa and New Hampshire? Well, let's look. She obviously was a governor. She was the ambassador to the UN. She has some credentials in government. And I guess she was a decent governor in North Carolina. I don't know. Rohan, thank you for joining us today, by the way. Rohan, this is a great point by Ron. I think that Republicans need to rethink the student loan thing. The university is the problem. They promise jobs, and they don't matter. No, I am saying, first of all, get the federal government out of the student loan business. Make the have banks use the old way of saying, hey, this is a risk. A loan is a risk, and are you worth the risk? And also make universities use their own money and endowments to guarantee these loans versus the federal government. But anyway, here's Vivek said Haley couldn't name 3 provinces in Ukraine, and this was her response. This is funny, and I know this is a Vivek clip, but it's kind of indicative of how Nikki Haley's night went last night, where she was often stumped by things. So here's this clip here.
I want to say one thing about the tie to Ukraine, if I may. So foreign policy experience is not the same as foreign policy wisdom. I want everybody at home to know that I was the first person to say we need a reasonable peace deal in Ukraine.
I know it's a Vivek
Now
clip.
a lot of the neocons are quietly coming along to that position, with the exceptions of Nikki Haley and Joe Biden, who still support this, what I believe is pointless war in Ukraine. And I think those with foreign policy experience, one thing that Joe Biden and Nikki Haley have in common is that neither of them could even state for you 3 provinces in eastern Ukraine that they want to send our troops to actually fight for. Look at that. This is what I want people to understand. These people have, I mean, she has no idea what the hell the names of those provinces are, but she wants to send our sons and daughters and our troops and our military equipment to go fight it. So reject this myth that they've been selling you, that somebody had a cup of coffee stint at the UN and then makes $8 million after, has real foreign policy experience. It takes an outsider to see this through. Look at the blank expression. She doesn't know the names of the provinces that she wants to actually fight for. And there's her puppet masters right there, the donors right there.
Okay, so that's more of a fake going after Nikki Haley. Let's see if we can find a Nikki Haley highlight, though. It was game over for Nikki Haley when she said she wanted to send American troops to fight Russians in Ukraine and couldn't name a single province in Ukraine. But that seems to be the clip that more people are remembering about Nikki Haley than anything she actually said, other than she wanted to bomb everybody. Someone else here says someone asked Nikki Haley if the First Amendment protects anti-Semitic speech. One of the most noteworthy nights was when Vivek attacks Nikki Haley. So Nikki Haley is mostly known for an attack. And here's, let's see, is this where this? I mean, the same clip over and over. Everyone's talking about that clip. Now here is, again, he even touts that. All right, so here's a Nikki Haley clip. Finally, here's one. Let's see what happens in this one. I don't even know which one it is. Nikki says when she's president, she will expand the definition of anti-Semitism, so that if you're not a Zionist, every school and government must label you an anti-Semite. Oh boy, oh boy. Let's see this.
Biden made a mistake not including anti-Zionism in the definition of anti-Semitism.
Okay.
If you don't think that Israel has a right to exist, that is anti-Semitic.
Okay, no, not necessarily. Oh my God. And this is why. Let's see. Oh, they had a post interview too. Megyn Kelly and Nikki Haley discussed the military recruitment problem and seemed baffled that after decades of war based on lies, American kids don't want to die or live with PTSD for the cause no one can articulate. Okay, oh my gosh. Let's see this. Let's see how, I think Megyn must be beating her up here on this one. Let's see.
If you look at the fact that they're teaching gender pronoun, that they're
okay, that didn't
making our military men and women take gender pronoun classes,
that's
you
absurd.
wouldn't be surprised.
But we did look at the Army survey that said only 5% say it's wokeness, the reason they're not joining. They say, kind of amazingly, because I know you're a military family, the number one reason they're not joining is fear of death. And the second one is a fear of post-traumatic stress disorder, like stress. They're afraid of stress. And the third is they don't want to miss their friends and family. Which, I mean, I just think, like, as a where are the old grizzled military people?
The patriots, right? The people. My husband joined after 9/11. It was that love of country. It's that.
Okay, well, whatever. That's a boring clip. Anyway, let's see if there's anything better here. Again, Nikki Haley's highlights were basically of Vivek ripping her to shreds. Let's see if this one. Nope, pretty much the same one over and over. Everybody's. This is probably a sentence I shouldn't be saying, but everyone's pounding on Nikki Haley. Okay, moving on. Let's go to Chris Christie, Krispy Kreme. Hello, Scoot. Welcome. And I like to watch PBS Kids, Cartoon Network, and Nickelodeon. It's okay for me to like them. I have my own opinion. Well, there you go. I agree, Scoot. Welcome, and thank you for subscribing to the channel. I appreciate you coming here. I am gay, and there's nothing wrong with that. I am proud of who I am. Okay, are you just going to... Are you here hoping to get on my nerves? Because you really won't. I don't care. And I appreciate you being here, though. And you're not the only gay person here, so that's whatever. I'm curious, though. It looks like I'm trying to see what that avatar is. That's fascinating. Okay. Nah, Scoot's not. Look, Scoot's probably like Mike. We have our friend Liberal Mike who comes here. I love Liberal Mike, and he busts my chops all the time. So whatever. All right, Chris Christie Cream. He is the most unintentionally hilarious candidate of the cycle. Now he got mad because Megyn Kelly threw a tough question at him, and he was not happy about it. And so here's apparently there's a clip here of Chris Christie chewing out Megyn Kelly during the break. Here, you can see this a little bit better here. Yeah, he's down there ripping her a new one. And Megyn Kelly, of course, not one to back down from anybody, probably just told him to shut the fuck up and get back to your seat. You got harassed for being gay? That's too bad. Not here, though. Nobody gives a shit if you're gay. That's, are you trying to screw me? Well, I'm sorry. I've been married for 30 years. I'm not interested. So who cares? Why are you gay? Anyway, so yeah, Chris Christie got mad. Let's see if there's any Chris Christie. Vivek. Vivek ripped on Krispy Kreme. We'll come back to Vivek getting crispy. Vivek has all kinds of highlights. Let's put it that way. Here's what Chris Christie was mad about when he went down and confronted Megyn Kelly, because this is Megyn Kelly at she's one of those people who's really good at getting under the skin of anyone she's questioning. And I think she got under Chris Christie's skin with this question.
You talk about parental rights. Let's talk about them. When you were governor in 2017, you signed a law that required new guidelines for schools dealing with transgender students. Those guidelines required schools to accept a child's preferred gender identity, even if the minor's parents objected.
Not true.
And it said that there is no duty for schools to notify parents if their son or daughter changes their gender identity, allowing this serious issue to remain a secret between the school and a child.
She's reading from your guidelines.
That's simply not true.
You're doing what you accuse me of, Chris. It is absolutely true.
That's simply not true. That's simply not true. That law was put into effect in 2018 and regulated in 2018 after I was out of office, Megan. No, we did not, Megan. We did not issue those guidelines, and you're wrong about that. Simply wrong. I have stood up each and every time.
So I think if this is one issue that's disqualifying, it's this one.
I stood up every single time for parents to be able to make the decisions for their minor children.
But parents...
Every single time, parents should make those decisions. And by the way, you know what? Every once in a while, parents are going to make decisions that we disagree with. But the minute you start to take those rights away from parents...
Now, this is interesting.
You don't know that slippery slope, what rights are going to be taken away next, and what's going to be focused on you.
As a parent, you do not have the right to abuse your kids. This is cutting off their genitals. This is mutilating these minors. These are irreversible procedures, and this is something that other countries in Europe, like Sweden, once they started doing it, they saw it did incalculable damage. They've shut it down. I signed legislation in Florida banning the mutilation.
Okay, that's we'll get back to Ron DeSantis later. Anyway, there was also a point. Here it is. This is now. Here's why Chris Christie wasn't necessarily the most popular guy in the planet during the debate either.
Sure, thank you. I want you all to kind of picture in your minds Election Day. You'll all be heading to the polls to vote.
He gets booed here.
And that's something that Donald Trump will not be able to do, because he will be convicted of felonies before then, and his right to vote will be taken away. Look. Here's the bottom line.
Basically, Chris Christie's there to savage Trump, and that's pretty much all he does.
If we deny reality as a party, we're going to have 4 more years of Joe Biden. When my colleagues here raised their hands and said they would support him even if he was a convicted felon, the bigger problem with it is they were confirming the lies he's told to the American people.
Now, one thing interesting about that, when they say that he won't be able to vote, is that true? It depends on where he calls his residence home. Now, maybe not in Florida, but is he going to continue to call Florida his home? Who knows? There are certain states where convicted felons can vote. Plus the fact that he will be on appeal, so there will be no sentencing, or it's going to be interesting. Anyway, Chris Christie's entire purpose of being in this race is to go after Donald Trump. Now, this is a call to action. This is one of those Democrat, kind of DNC supported page shills on Twitter who tweet a lot. And this person says that Chris Christie ended Vivek's career here. Now, this will be interesting because there were several Chris Christie career-ending moments during the debate last night. But let's see this one.
Okay? You say this, you do this at every debate. You go out on the stump and you say something. All of us see it on video. We confront you on the debate stage. You say you didn't say it, and then you back away. And I want to say
exactly what I said, Chris.
I'm not done yet.
Well, this
now,
is...
look.
So these two, at one point, obviously went after each other.
This is the fourth debate that you would be voted in the first 20 minutes as the most obnoxious blowhard in America.
Now, which is funny, coming from an obnoxious blowhard. He's one of the. Chris Christie is an obnoxious blowhard too. So, whatever.
I want to say something else. We're now 25 minutes into this debate, and he has insulted Nikki Haley's basic intelligence, not her position.
Now see, here's the white knight part. Here's the white knight part.
She doesn't know regions. She wouldn't be able to find something on a map that his 3-year-old could find. Look, if you want to disagree on issues, that's fine. And Nikki and I disagree on some issues. But I'll tell you this, I've known her for 12 years, which is longer than he's even started to vote in a Republican primary. And while we disagree about some issues and we disagree about who should be president of the United States, what we don't disagree on is this is a smart, accomplished woman, and you should stop insulting her.
Oh, please. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Chris Christie. Thank you for saving me. Thank you. You are so special. Here's the other one. Here's another one where Chris Christie is claiming that Trump is a dictator and a bully. And this, again, the lefties are loving Chris Christie. In fact, Chris Christie should just run in the Democratic primary against Joe Biden because they would love him. Ron Filipkowski. Again, the left loves Chris Christie unless he would win the nomination, and then they would savage him. But here's Chris Christie, again, going after Trump.
And what needs to be taken on, I look at my watch now. We're 17 minutes into this debate, and except for your little speech in the beginning, we've had these three acting as if the race is between the four of us. The fifth guy.
If the one person in the polls is 60 points ahead of anyone here, then the race is, you're right, the race is not between you, and he's not there. But the point you're about to make is kind of stupid.
Who doesn't have the guts to show up and stand here. He's the one who, as you just put it, is way ahead in the polls. And yet, I've got these three guys who are all seemingly to compete with, Voldemort, he who shall not be named. They don't want to talk about it.
That's a little creepy.
The fact is that when you go and you say the truth about somebody who is a dictator, a bully.
A dictator? How is he a dictator?
Everybody, whether they've given him great
how is he a dictator?
Or not over time, who dares to disagree with him, then I understand why these three are timid to say anything about it. Maybe it's because they have future aspirations. Maybe those future aspirations are now, or maybe they're 4 years from now.
You mean like when you were helping Trump with his debate prep and you were hoping you'd get a cabinet position, you didn't, now you've kind of hold a grudge against him? Is that what you're talking about there, Krispy Kreme? Anyway, but yeah, I'll let this finish for anyone who loves the Democrat. Hello, Ty Alexander.
But the fact of the matter is the truth needs to be told. And for us to go 17 minutes without discussing the guy who has all those gaudy numbers you talked about is ridiculous.
Wait. Why would that be your most important thing to talk about is Donald Trump, instead of telling us what you were going to do if you were president and how could you beat Donald Trump? Instead of spending your time talking about him, I'm confused there, Chris.
Truth needs to be spoken. He is unfit. This is a guy who just said this past week that he wants to use the Department of Justice to go after his enemies when he gets in there. And the fact of the matter is, he is unfit to be president, and there is no bigger issue in this race, Megyn, than Donald Trump, and those numbers prove it.
Governor Christie.
Okay, so that's basically his whole campaign. He's here to savage Donald Trump. And the last but not least, that's funny. I had where's Vivek? Oh, here. I said I'd do Vivek, save for Vivek for last. Although it was hard not to find highlights from Vivek's part of the debate last night. This is interesting. Here's I guess Vivek was on Fox and Friends this morning, and he's been looking for, one of the things he mentioned last night is he's interested in a peace deal in Ukraine. And apparently the Fox hosts, according to this clip, we're not thrilled with this idea. Let's see what this is.
But the problem, I just like to know when this policy is just ridiculous on Russia and Ukraine. He says, tell Russia basically they can have Ukraine if they promise not to have an alliance with China. I mean, if there's...
have Ukraine?
Hey, Vivek. I can hear. Vivek, are you comfortable? Are you comfortable with Russia taking as much as Ukraine as they want? Are you comfortable pulling all our aid out? And do you really believe that Vladimir Putin will agree not to have an alliance with China?
I think we have to play hardball there and make a hard deal that requires,
which Joe Biden will never do,
on that deal to have major consequences.
Like what? Like sanctions, like we have right now?
Well, look, I think that we have to be able to have real consequences, maximum pressure campaign. We have sanctions. We don't have a maximum pressure campaign. And I can go into the details of that, and I have at the Nixon Library and elsewhere. But what I'm saying, Brian, is the clear principles are this war doesn't advance U.S. interests.
Yes, it does.
Russia-China alliance is the top threat that we face.
If you give up Eastern Europe, we'll be in a world war.
If I may ask you a question. If
right.
You asked the question, I want to make sure I answer it.
It is in our interest.
Detailed contours of a deal. I think it is not in our interest to strengthen the Russia-China
alliance. No, because
the
next countries over are NATO countries. It's not going to start a world war.
It's going to be done anyway. You cannot keep Russia from China.
I think Russia is going... I think the answer is we are driving Russia into China's hands. There are kinks in the armor of that relationship. Look at Russia sending weapons to India and to Vietnam after other meetings they've had. This is our opportunity. Nixon did this in 1972, and Brian, respectfully, people like you said the same thing, that Nixon couldn't do it. Well, it takes an outsider who's skeptical of that establishment.
They didn't say, oh my God, people like you, Brian. All right, so enough of that. Let's go to some, shush, I want to do debate highlights from last night again. Now this is the part though. Now, this is the one highlight that I'm guessing that the most people are going to be talking about when it comes to Vivek. And some people are very pissed about this particular part of the debate last night because he said some things that you are not allowed to say. Listen to this. We're going full Alex Jones here, baby.
With all three of my other colleagues on this debate stage is all three of them have been licking Donald Trump's boots for years for money and endorsements. Ron DeSantis, you've been a great governor, but you would have never been one without actually begging Donald Trump for that endorsement.
And you attacked him in your book a year ago.
Same thing with Chris Christie as a lobbyist, begging them for COVID money for his special interests in New Jersey, prepping him for the debates last time around. These people are now Monday morning quarterbacking some decision he made. I think the real enemy is not Donald Trump.
Wait for it.
It's not even Joe Biden. It is the deep state that at least Donald Trump attempted to take on. And if you want somebody who's going to speak truth to power, then vote for somebody who's going to speak the truth to you. Why am I the only person on this stage at least who can say that January 6th now does look like it was an inside job? That the government lied to us for 20 years about Saudi Arabia's involvement in 9/11. That the great replacement theory is not some grand right-wing conspiracy theory, but a basic statement of the Democratic Party's platform. That the 2020 election was indeed stolen by big tech. That the 2016 election, the one that Trump won for sure, was also one that was stolen from him by the national security establishment. That actually put up the Trump-Russia collusion hoax that they knew was false. There's a reason why I'm the only person on the stage who can say these things. That's what it's going to take, not people who were licking his boots one time and now Monday morning quarterbacking him and criticizing him.
There's a whole lot of red meat there, baby. He said some stuff that you are not allowed to say. And if you want to watch the debate, it's you can find it on the internet. I'm not going to put a link to it. Anyway, let's move on because that was some fireworks. Let's move on. Oh, Megyn Kelly too was trending from the debate last night. Now a lot of people, some people say Megyn Kelly is a microcosm of what's wrong with this country, Kardashian politics. She asked hard questions, and I don't know why they say Kardashian politics. We do not care about anything more than getting this country right. Policy, law, accomplishment. Megyn needs to go back to the gutter where she belongs. What a disgrace. I don't think so. I think she was she was kind of tough. What is this internet we speak of? Yes. Here's the question that is this the one? I don't think this is the New Jersey one. This is the one before.
You even said that you got into this race just to stop.
This is the one I wanted to play before. I thought that was going to be this clip. This is the one that really kind of makes you wonder why Chris Christie is even in the race. He's a one-purpose pony. I should say a Clydesdale because he's a giant horse. Anyway, here's the question that Megyn Kelly put to Chris Christie that I thought really made you wonder why he's still in the race.
You even said that you got into this race just to stop President Trump. His approval rating with Republicans is currently at 81%. Yours is at 25%. Your best state is New Hampshire, and even there, 2/3 of GOP voters say they would be angry and disappointed if you won. Respectfully, Governor, you have not stopped Mr. Trump, and voters may wonder how you could possibly become the nominee of a party that does not appear to like you very much.
Yeah, well, look,
Listen, now, that's the question where during the break, Chris Christie went down and gave Megyn Kelly a piece of his mind. But let's hear his answer.
It's often very difficult to be the only person on the stage who's telling the truth. And the only person who is taking on what needs to be taken on. I look at my watch now. We're 17 minutes into the
this is the same. Yeah,
and except for your little speech in the beginning, we've had these three acting as if the race is between the four of us. The fifth guy.
It's a race for second place. And guess what? Second place, in this case, could end up being important. Okay, we've already heard the answer here, but I just wanted to show you the question that he was answering when he came into that. Oh, we're 17 minutes of the race and we haven't heard anything but about Trump except for your little speech. Well, that's okay, Chris Christie, because we don't know why you're in the race. We don't know why you're in the race. All right, moving on. Let's get into now a couple trending other topics. Van Jones is very upset at Vivek. Here's Van Jones, very upset with Vivek Ramaswamy for mentioning the Great Replacement theory. Now, look, in some circles, that's taboo because it's supposedly white supremacists and all that, and we're Jews in our place. But that's not the part that Vivek was talking about. He's talking about how Democrats are reveling in the idea that the majority, whatever, white people are the majority, is dwindling, and they celebrate that all the time. You hear them celebrate it all the time, and I don't really care. I mean, it's like, and then the idea that, oh, we're going to bring in all these immigrants and we're going to place jobs and this and that, right? And so Van Jones very upset about that, and he was on this is CNN last night. And here's what he had to say about that. Very, very, very upset with Ramaswamy.
And the smug, condescending way that he just spews this poison out.
Oh, yes.
Is very, very dangerous.
Poison,
because
dangerous.
He won't stop Trump.
Dangerous.
But he's going to outlive Trump by about 50 years. And you're watching the rise of an American demagogue that is a very, very despicable person. And I was shaking listening to him talk, because a lot of people don't know that is one step away from Nazi propaganda coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, but the good thing, Van, you could...
And the
Good morning, Nomad.
Stop. Hammer time.
Poor Van Jones. He was literally shaking. Literally shaking. And anytime you see Van Jones trending, yeah, that's the whole clip. He melts down over Vivek talking about Great Replacement theory. So, and I mean, that's That's interesting. Now there's somebody here. Van Jones is a lickspittle who will grovel to anyone to get closer to power. Yeah, he was in that. He was in the room when they talked about prison reform with Donald Trump. Look, I respect Van Jones' willingness to go in places where he's not wanted. Okay, or where you would assume he's not wanted. So, but in the end, he's still this, progressive weenie. I can't believe I said that. Hello, Reese Donald, too. Good morning. All right, moving on. That's why he's trending. Also, in the trending topics, Jim Jordan's trending because Jim Jordan and Representative Loudermilk of the Judiciary Committee have launched an inquiry into Fani Willis in Georgia colluding with the January 6th committee and release a letter showing coordination between her office and the committee. So, they have this, the election interference, whatever trial or case in Georgia of Donald Trump, right? Fani Willis brought the charges in that section. Well, apparently there's some shenanigans going on. They have found correspondence between Fani Willis and the J6 committee, which, supposedly didn't have any power, but apparently they've got Fani Willis to indict Donald Trump. Here's a letter that they sent to Bernie Thompson. Or no, this is from 2021. The Fulton County District Attorney's Office, Atlanta Judicial Circuit, a letter to the Honorable Benny Thompson, the head of the January 6th committee. Dear Chairman Thompson, as you may be aware, I am conducting a criminal investigation of possible attempts to illegally interfere with the administration of Georgia's 2020 general election. Through news reports, we are aware that your committee has interviewed witnesses relevant to our investigation. We understand from the same reports that your committee's investigation may have collected records relevant to our investigation. Please accept this letter as an official request from me to access records that may be relevant to our criminal investigation. Those records include, but are not limited to, recordings and transcripts of witnesses, interviews, and depositions, electronic and print records of communications, and records of travel. It may well be most efficient for your staff and effective for our understanding for my staff and me to meet with your investigators in person. We are able to travel to Washington any time between January 31st, 2022 and February 25th, 2022. We will do our best to accommodate the schedule of the committee. Thank you for your consideration of this request. You may contact me, blah, 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 blah. Fani Willis, Fulton County District Attorney. Now, interesting. So Jim Jordan and Loudermilk are launching an inquiry into Fani Willis colluding with the January 6th committee. And so they released the letter that she sent. And let's see. In fact, here's the article from the Daily Caller. Jim Jordan launched an investigation at Georgia DA prosecuting Trump for colluding with the January 6th committee. Now, that's a badly written sentence. Jordan launched an investigation at Georgia DA prosecuting Trump, comma, for there should be some commas in there, but they failed to put the commas in, so that doesn't sound right. House Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan and Representative Barry Loudermilk of Georgia launched an investigation Tuesday into Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, who indicted former President Donald Trump in August for colluding with the January 6th committee. Again, they at least they put the comma there. They didn't. Who indicted former Trump in August, comma, for colluding with the January 6th committee. They just should have left that out because it makes it hard to read the sentence right. The House Judiciary Committee previously launched a probe into the district's attorney over her conduct in the 2020 Georgia election interference case after Willis indicted the former president in mid-August. Jordan and Loudermilk inquiry cites a December 12, 2021 letter they have uncovered that has led them to believe that Willis's office coordinated its investigative actions with the partisan select committee, the Judiciary Committee announced on Twitter. Now, here's the thing. I don't know that what she did is unacceptable, even though I don't like it. But if they know that there's an investigation going on and she's doing an investigation of her own, doesn't she need to? I mean, isn't that? Look, I don't like it, but I don't know if that is out of beyond the pale to do that. I just wonder. But anyway, They saw the letter here, and so the Willis also suggested she and her staff pay a visit to Washington, D.C. to meet with the committee. We saw that already. So Jordan and Loudermilk sent letters to both Willis and Thompson on Tuesday informing them of their knowledge of their correspondence, as well as requesting additional documents from them both. Specifically, Loudermilk asked Thompson for copies of all communications the committee had with Willis, records of travel provided to the district attorney, a list of individuals deposed, and other information. So they're investigating it, and they're trying to get Trump on the RICO Act, which seems silly to me. But anyway, also trending. Wait, what happened there? Oh, there we go. Nick Cannon is trending. Now, this is normally out of my realm, but I just found this funny, being a person of color and of a certain level of melanated human being, whatever. And this is funny. Apparently, Nick Cannon is putting a new show out there. He's producing a show who some people find disgusting. Nick Cannon is not conscious if he's hosting a mess like this. He's doing a show called Bad versus Wild, Dark Skin versus Light Skin. Now, that is... if you were in the community by the way, I just team light skin by default. Don't know what this is going to be, but there's some people pretty damn mad about it. I just don't know. I don't know. Maybe he's just had to be a brother to understand. Tyre, you know what I'm talking about, right? This is a trip. Anyway, that's why Nick Cannon's trending. FTG to Nick Cannon for putting that bullshit out there. Moving on, Trump's VP is trending. Now, there are some rumors that possibly Nikki Haley is being considered a Trump VP. There's a whole bunch of people that are rumors. Ben Carson, Tucker Carlson. Apparently, in fact, we'll go on this hashtag because this is interesting. There's a whole bunch of people talking about who's Trump's VP going to be. Well, there's a report out there that says Melania Trump is pushing for Tucker Carlson to be Donald Trump's vice presidential pick for the 2024 election, according to Axios. Now, again, it's Axios. So you know what Axios' source is? People familiar with the matter. That's who Axios' source is. Anyway, Trump Tucker has a nice ring to it. According to a source who spoke with the news outlet, Melania Trump believes Tucker is the best VP option and would make a powerful onstage extension of her husband. When asked about Tucker being his VP pick, Trump said, "I like Tucker a lot. He's got a lot of great common sense. And he wears good ties. When he wears the bow ties, I really like the bow ties. I like the straight and long, narrow ties, but when he wears the bow ties, there's something special about the bow ties. It's the finest bow tie that I've ever seen." Anyway, that ticket would break the internet. Also, other people they're talking about is possibly Nikki Haley. Just in, Melania Trump said she thinks Tucker Carlson would make a great choice as vice president. Do you agree? Let's hear. I'm going to put that in. Let's do a poll. I haven't done a poll for a while. This is going to be a yes or no. Do you think Tucker Carlson would make a good vice president? I think what it would happen, it definitely would lower the chances of Donald Trump being ended by some crazy Democrat because, they'd be afraid of Tucker Carlson. So there you go. There's a poll question for you in the YouTube chat. You can just put yes or no over on Rumble. Let's see. And here it is. Here's the article from Axios. Here's an interesting twist. Melania Trump is an advocate for picking Tucker Carlson. She booted Fox News star. She thinks Carlson would make a powerful onstage extension of her husband. A source close to Trump told us former First Lady has made a few campaign appearances this time around, but a Trump Carlson ticket might encourage her to hit the trail. Well, isn't that special? So, and obviously Chris Christie went on his little diatribe about Trump was probably saying that he thinks these people are just running to possibly be a vice presidential pick. Slim Tito 02, that's a new name in the chat. Welcome. Who says Nikki Haley is a Dem in a Republican mask? Yes, her and Chris Christie. I mean, again, Chris Christie is a New Jersey Republican, which means he's a Democrat with who will, send your kids to war. And boy, I'll tell you, Nikki Haley, I don't even know what to think about her right now. All right, so there you go. That's why Trump's VP is trending. All sorts of speculations about possibilities for Trump VP. Now now here's a stupid question. Somebody here says, Musk kicks ass and takes names. Could Elon Musk be Trump's VP? No, he's not eligible to be president. So why would he be the VP? That's dumb. Just don't even say stupid shit like that. That means you don't know what you're talking about. Now there was another thing though. If I can find it, here it is. Somebody put this little meme out there too, and I've got questions. I have questions because this is let me pop this on the screen. I want to make sure it fits first. That's why I'm not doing. Oh, let's just do a full screen. Let's do a full. Someone put this out here too, and I have questions. So, someone's saying, "Who is your pick for VP?" Okay, who's your pick for VP? And as I look at this, I go, okay, Huckabee Sanders, possible. She's governor of Arkansas. She was, very loyal to Trump when she was the press secretary, whatnot. Vivek Ramaswamy, sure, he's strong personality, whatnot. Tucker Carlson, sure, I guess, except I don't think he wants to be a politician. The other one, though, the next one, Candace Owens? Why? Why? Who's even thinking of that? Nobody. Trump Jr.? Yeah, I don't think that's possible. I think that would be, well, it depends where Trump Jr. went. Candace has his VP, as went away. She would make a rumble. Well, yeah, I don't think so. Hello, Brett Hayes, by the way. And Cindy Bishop, what's up? Okay, a whole bunch of people showed up. Welcome to the show. No, not Candace. Please stop it. Christy Dome, yeah, she's definitely, she would be the, she would make the campaign much more aesthetically pleasing. Ben Carson, I like Ben Carson. Carrie Lake, look, I like Carrie Lake. But she's just a little too harsh to be the vice president. And Tim Scott, maybe, although he didn't really impress me during his campaign. I think he could be a lot better, but I think he was too. Tim Scott plays it too safe sometimes. I'm just telling you. So anyway, I thought that was an interesting little meme about VP picks, which I don't think. What are the odds? What are the odds that one of those 9 people would be the vice presidential pick? I think he's going to pick somebody, I don't know, more out there. Byron Donaldson, I like Byron Donaldson too. I think that would be an interesting pick. And he's that's kind of the quintessential vice president. Kind of smart, low-key though, maybe not as obvious a possible candidate. But boy, oh boy, Byron Donalds on the campaign trail. Byron Donalds is a huge dude. He's a big dude. And he's so good with words. And that's what you need your vice president to be. You need your vice president to be a good attack dog, but out of the, out of the spotlight, so to speak. And right now, I mean, those of us who know Byron Donalds love that pick. But it'd be for most Democrats, they'd be like, who? What? Wait, where'd this guy come? This is a giant black dude, man. I mean, he's a big dude. Anyway, I like Byron Donalds. All right, moving on. 90% of Americans is trending. Now, there was apparently some kind of a bill in the Senate, some kind of gun control bill that Chris Murphy, the senator from, where's he from? Is he from New Jersey too? Chris Murphy? Anyway, he tells a whopper about his crap gun grabber bill and gets called out mercilessly. So let's start here. He tweeted today I asked my colleagues to pass my universal firearms background checks legislation. It's supported by 90% of Americans and would save thousands of lives. Saves thousands of lives. No one save your lives. But Republicans blocked it. And then he said 3 hours later, another mass shooting in UNLV, which I haven't heard about the UNLV shooting. We'll try to find that. But let's go to one of my fun sites here called Twitchy. They make fun of things that happen on Twitter, or the app formerly known as Twitter. Tool, Senator Chris Murphy tells a whopper about his crap gun grabber bill and gets called out mercilessly. So let's just scroll through here on Twitchy and read this article. Like other good Democrats, Senator Chris Murphy was quick to exploit the shooting at UNLV to push for, wait for it, you know it's coming, more gun control. Democrats never ever let a crisis go to waste. So is this the whole thing? I don't want to play this whole thing. It's 4 minutes long. But it's the same tweet I just showed you. Today I asked my colleagues to pass my universal firearms background check legislation. It's supported by 90% of Americans and would save thousands of lives. Well, first of all, probably not. I don't think there's a single piece of gun grabbing legislation that would save any lives, really. But Republicans blocked it. 3 hours later, another mass shooting at UNLV. So this carnage is a choice. Now, yes, by mentally ill criminals who don't give a single damn about any of this legislation or pandering to the gun control lobby, Republicans aren't choosing carnage. That's just hate-filled horse crap. Fine. If he wants to play that game, then let every time a Democrat blocks a pro-life bill or votes present on a bill calling out anti-Semitism, they are choosing carnage. And then, come on, 90% of Americans, what's the source? So he said, what do you think your bill would have done to prevent the UNLV shooting? Hint, nothing. We have and we already do have background checks, by the way. I mean, whatever. But there are literally tens of thousands of laws in the books already. Which new law does Murphy think criminals will obey? Many mass shooters commit crimes with legally owned firearms. Many mass shooters commit crimes with stolen firearms. How would your bill do anything but make it harder to own firearms legally and build the foundation for a gun registry, which will enable gun confiscation? That's a good question. And his bill wouldn't do anything but let him pretend he did something to end gun violence. And then when it doesn't magically end because criminals and insane people don't obey the law, he'll be back up there pushing for another bill and claiming Republicans are okay with death. This is about politics and nothing more. So, and again, I think UNLV is a gun-free zone, and that's where most shootings happen, especially mass shootings. Gun criminals don't like to go places where they might encounter other guns. So, so that was that part of it. Let's go back to this though. When he says 90% of Americans listen to the mainstream media fear-mongering, vote this way or it will be complete chaos. Yeah, because remember, 97% of climate scientists think that we're all going to die in 10 years too from global warming. Anyway, the idea that 90% of Americans agree on anything, yeah, I don't buy it. And especially his legislation, so I would guess that 99% of Americans didn't even know you put a bill in Congress or in the Senate. So there you go. So anyway, let's move on. Also trending is, and guns is trending again. Now let's see if we can find out information about this shooting at UNLV. I gotta get to the articles soon. Well, I'm almost there. We'll get to Gunfox's articles and then we'll be done. Let me see real quick though, because I didn't hear about this UNLV shooting. Let's look this up real quick, because this was a professor? Wait a minute. This was a professor? Here it is, UNLV shooting. Gunman was a career professor. Okay, here's the CNN article. Gunn was a career professor who may have applied for a job at the school but not been hired. Source says. So we have a source. the shooter who killed 3 people Wednesday at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. So that's the mass shooting they're talking about. They killed 3 people. Okay, and again, that's the definition of mass shooting: 3 or more people injured by some, and they'll say this was a mass shooting. And when someone says mass shooting, what's the first thing you think of as far as the type of weapon? Now I don't know what type of weapon this person had. I don't even know, but they want you to think every time you hear the word mass shooting that you think AR-15 because that's the gun they want to ban. And when most mass shootings are done with handguns, more people are killed by hands and feet than by rifles, including AR-15s. All rifles, which an AR-15 is a rifle. Hello, Selected Boy, by the way.
Yeah, boy.
And there is a and that's why they use the Gun Violence Archive, because the Gun Violence Archive says mass shooting for all places where multiple people are injured by a gunshot. And the vast majority of all those events, by far, are handguns in city-type violence. And I don't necessarily mean gun violence, like gang violence, just city bullshit violence, okay? In 5 cities. That's where the vast majority of them are. What up, Cannon Hotep? Oh my gosh, Cannon Hotep's in the house! Haven't seen you for a while, my brother. Nice to see you, man. I got to talk to you. I need to talk to you. Maybe we'll exchange some guest appearances and shit, because I need to hang out with you a little bit. And good morning, Rohan45. Okay, so here it is. The gunman died at the scene after confrontation with police outside the university building. Los Angeles Metro Sheriff Kevin McMahill said he was identified as Anthony Polito. That source and another source in law enforcement said investigators are looking into the possibility Polito may have been passed over for a job at UNLV. So this is a professor. He's probably pretty liberal then, because aren't most professors liberal? Investigators are looking into the possibility that Polito may have been passed over for a job. The first law enforcement officer said. Source said an investigative theory on a possible motive is Polito had sought a position there but was not hired. Polito had worked for schools in Georgia and North Carolina. His LinkedIn page shows listing his most recent full-time employment as a business professor at East Carolina University, a position which he ended in 2017. The shooting began shortly before noon on the 4th floor of the university's Beam Hall Business School building, where students and professors were preparing for next week's final exams. Outside, students were gathered for an event with games, food, and a Lego building activity. Again, this is a university, and they're having a Lego building event. The shooter moved through multiple floors before having an armed confrontation with law enforcement outside, which stopped the subject. The sheriff said it's unclear how the gunman died. In addition, 3 people killed by the shooter. 1 person was critically injured by gunfire, but that person's condition later stabilized at a hospital. 4 others were taken to hospitals due to symptoms of panic attacks. Authorities have not released the names of the victims or disclosed whether they include students or staff. We watched a lot of fear across the faces of those young men and women at UNLV today, the sheriff said. The shooting prompted a campus-wide shelter-in-place order as authorities rushed to stop the gunman and then methodically worked to clear and evacuate Beam Hall and nearby buildings. Students actually took shelter. You know what's interesting? It's almost guarantee you the weapon was not an AR-15. Just why? Why do you think I would say that? Anyone know why I'm saying that right now? Why would I say the gunman did not use an AR-15? Because it's not in the headline or in the first paragraph. So clearly this is a professor with a handgun. University, there's nothing, no mention of the type of weapon. And in fact, I'm sure someone walking around with an AR-15 in a college campus in Las Vegas would be hard to hide the gun. So anyway, shooting evokes memory of 2017 massacre. Well, I don't think so, because anyway, this is it's a sad event, and that's why you don't let liberals have guns. Anyway, I shouldn't have said that. That was mean. That was wrong. That's so wrong. All right. Last trending top is Washington Post. Apparently the Washington Post Guild, which is, I guess, their union for their writers and whatever, decided to go on strike for one day. Now, this is interesting for a couple reasons. I need both. Let me click the, let me open this tab real quick. Copy link, because I want to show you this video that they put together telling us that they were going to go on strike. The Washington Post Guild. Come on. Is that going to fit on the screen? There we go. So the Washington Post Guild put out this video yesterday. Workers at Washington Post have been in contract negotiations with our bosses for 18 months, but the company refuses to pay us what we're worth or bargain in good faith. So on December 7th, which is today, we're walking off the job for 24 hours. They're doing a show of strength, right? Now, there's something to this video, and it's a short video, so we're going to watch it. But there's something very, very interesting that one of the people in this video says. Remember, think about what we're talking about. The Washington Post, one of the most prominent papers in the United States, doing national and Washington news, especially on politics, very left-leaning newspaper. The union for the Washington Post going on strike because they don't think they're being paid enough. Okay, let's take a listen to this, and I'm going to miss them for an entire day, I guess. Here, let's watch this where they go on strike.
I have risked my life on the front lines of war.
I've covered an insurrection.
A global.
That wasn't it, but I'm just laughing. I somehow I missed that part. I must have clicked on it when it was already started. I missed the I've covered an insurrection. Where? In what country? Because it wasn't here. Continue.
Pandemic.
Historic racial justice protests, climate change.
And gun violence in America.
So notice every one of these topics. First of all, this isn't what I was going to say, but I'm going to go through these again, because notice all of these are just like left-wing causes, right?
I have risked my life on the front lines of war.
Ukraine.
I've covered an insurrection.
Insurrection.
Global
pandemic.
Historic racial justice.
Protests.
Climate
And
change.
gun violence.
Gun violence. Those are hot button issues at the Washington Post, right? That really wasn't the point I was going to make.
America.
I work hard to make sure you know exactly what's going on.
I work hard to make sure that we know what the Washington Post wants you to know.
To hold powerful institutions to account.
And to bring you the latest visuals from around the globe.
Now, I think it's the next woman. Listen to the next one. I think it's her. We'll see.
And I'm worth a
No, not her.
fair and
Next.
transparent pay process.
I'm worth a living wage.
I'm worth raises that keep up with inflation.
Oh, so here it
I'm
goes.
worth equal pay to.
Whoa. What? What did this one just say? I'm going to go back. And let's go for the four talking about their pay. Okay, listen.
And transparent pay process.
I'm worth a
Living wage.
I'm worth raises that keep up with inflation.
I'm worth equal pay to my.
I'm worth equal pay to my colleagues? Are you saying that arguably America's most powerful paper that champions left-wing causes does not give equal pay to their BIPOC women of color? Really? The Washington Post does not give equal pay?
My colleagues, regardless of my race or
regardless of my race or gender. Equal pay to my colleagues regardless of race or gender? Are you saying the Washington Post does not give equal pay? I bet you their editorial board, has made plenty of editorials about equal pay for women and minorities, and you're not getting equal pay? The Washington Post are racist, misogynists. Oh my goodness. Now, there's more in this, and they're talking about why they're going on strike. I have a point to make about that. If you, as a BIPOC woman of color, are not getting equal pay at the Washington Post, one of the most liberal, left-leaning, Democrat-centered, shill newspapers in the world, one that probably constantly talks about equal pay, then I would say that your union sucks. Because union jobs, supposedly, you get paid based on how long you've been there. That's it. You don't get equal pay like if you've been there so long, you get this amount of raise and that's it. Or you get this contract and that's it. Are you saying your union does not demand equal pay for BIPOC women of color? And why is it that this whole little diatribe between these people on here should be all BIPOC women of color so the Washington Post can save some damn money? How is it that you're not getting equal pay at a union job at the Washington freaking Post? Unbelievable. Hello, Jen T. What's up? What she really meant, she doesn't know she could sue them for doing that. If she can prove it, the lawsuit would be huge. Well, I'm telling you, why hasn't she sued them yet? Oh, wait, because some union negotiated your contract so you don't get equal pay? That means your union sucks. That's what I'm saying. Your union sucks. Anyway, not too many people are torn up about the Washington Post union going on strike. Let's see. I'm going to refresh this and see what a few comments on this are. Hopefully no boobs or butts show up. Let's see. Washington Post. Let's see. The Washington Post employees asked that you respect our picket line by avoiding Washington Post journalism during our 24-hour walkout. Oh, that'll be very difficult for me to avoid Washington Post journalism because, first of all, it's hard to find Washington Post journalism even when they are working. They're replacements, but it's me and 6 other Twitter accounts writing all content for the Washington Post during the strike. We're going to win the big game against the New York Times and make it into the playoffs. That's funny. Someone here... oh, goodness. This is someone saying, I was featured on the front page of the Washington Post this week for my continuous support of the only hero in my life, President Donald Trump. Okay, whatever. 750 Washington Post staffers walked off the job today. They're pitching it as a historic protest. Reality is, no American will notice or care. Oh, damn. That's so true. Washington Post is one of the worst corporate media outlets there is. They attack people simply because of their political beliefs. Maybe it's time to let the Washington Post die in darkness. Anyway, so yeah, Washington Post workers began a day-long strike today as job cuts loom. Yeah, they're going to be cutting jobs too at the Washington Post. Look, here's the thing. I'm pretty sure all the AI tools that they use, the Washington Post, could probably write all their articles today. So anyway, Washington Post and WAPO are both trending, so you can get into those sections. And the last trending topic I had was, that was the same article. I had this up here twice. Now, I think Breitbart. Oh no, I didn't want to close that tab. What are you doing there, Mart? Reopen, close tab. There we go. And if you want to get more information on the GOP debate, it's, you can find it on Rumble. You can find it all over the place. And here's a Breitbart article. But I'm going to skip this and get to Gunfox's articles. Oh, except for one thing. One of the best analyses and short and sweet analysis of the GOP debate last night came from my friend JJ Sefton at the Ace of Spades, who said, wait, where is it here? Oh, this is funny. This is true. John Wayne Gacy, yes, Chris Christie and his excessive man boobs. But anyway, so here are the takeaways from the GOP debate. And I'm going to use JJ Sefton's colorful language as written. Chris Christie is a disgusting fat fraud who had a great future as a buoy on Obama's Martha's Vineyards pond. That's one of his takeaways from the debate. Nikki Haley is an abject, lying globalist slag who shockingly pimped illegal alien amnesty. Yes, she did. She was saying that we should only deport the ones who've been here come during the Biden administration. Ron DeSantis was fine, if not a bit dull. This is true. Ron DeSantis is a good governor, but he is rather dull. And Vivek Ramaswamy hurls red meat like a pro. So he is he's the best at throwing out some red meat. None of the above are going to beat Trump for the nomination, the deep state persecutions notwithstanding. And if these rumblings about Trump picking Nikki Haley as a VP are true, then I'm done, which I have to agree. God, Donald Trump, do not pick Nikki Haley. All right, here comes the articles from Gunfox. We'll get through these, and then we're going to get the hell out of Dodge. The first one, thank you, Gunfox61, dropping 3 Hamiltons in the tip jar. Always a pleasure having you here. And you saved my ass more than once. You just don't know it. Here we go. First article. This is from the Daily Mail. He pulled off of Microsoft because then he could read it. Biden forgives another $4.8 billion with a B in student debt. President's huge plan to go around the Supreme Court continues with the latest wiping of loans for 80,000 borrowers. This, again, I don't know how if he's just ignoring the Supreme Court or if he's just finding a workaround. I almost said a wraparound or reach around, but I meant a workaround. Why is this not on the screen? There we go. Joe Biden canceled another $4.8 billion in student debt on Wednesday, bringing the total he has forgiven to $132 billion for more than 3.6 million borrowers. It comes despite the Supreme Court having struck down his plans to cancel $400 billion in debt in June. Republicans slammed the move and said taxpayers would be forced to pay the bill. The latest move would benefit 80,000 people, including public sector workers and those who have been paying back loans for at least 20 years. Biden said in the wake of the Supreme Court decision on our student debt relief plan, we are continuing to pursue an alternative plan to deliver student debt relief to as many borrowers as possible, as quickly as possible. So he's buying boats again. He's buying boats. From day one of my administration, I vowed to improve the student loan system so that our higher education provides Americans with opportunity and prosperity, not unmanageable burdens of student debt, loan debt, wrote his handlers. He added, I won't back down from using every tool at our disposal to get student loan borrowers the relief they need to reach their dreams. Now, Republican Speaker Mike Johnson said the Biden administration's latest student debt transfer does not cancel or forgive a penny of student loan debt. Instead, President Biden is once again asking hardworking taxpayers to foot the bill for the loans of well-off graduates. This is not only unfair, it is wrong. Most of those benefiting from the latest cancellation were told in November that their remaining debt would be wiped out. Biden has canceled more student debt than any previous president. Well, I don't know that have any other previous president canceled student loan debt. I'm confused. Education Secretary Miguel Cardona said the latest discharges are a result of this administration's relentless efforts to fix our country's broken student loan system and get hard-earned debt relief into the hands of eligible borrowers. Look, again, they took out the debt. What do you mean debt relief? Declining number of business owners don't want taxpayers footing the bill for student loan bill. Yeah, no, they don't. Now, last month, Biden told 813,000 Americans that he had wiped out their student loan debt. The former students received an email from Biden notifying them. Biden's push to cancel student loan debt comes less than a year until the election, and as he tries to get young people on board. So again, it's an election ploy. FJB. Or FTG, same thing. FTG, FJB. It's a multi-purpose thing. Okay, I'm going to look at the poll real quick here. It looks like, yes, 62% of you believe that Tucker Carlson would make a good vice president. What do you need to be a vice president? Obviously, it doesn't have to. Come on. We had Dan Quayle. Does it take much to be a vice president? We have. Who's the vice? We have Kamala Harris. What do you have to be vice president? We've had some duds in the past. So anyway, who cares? All right, moving on. Also, thank you, GunFox61, for this one. Chinese Pearl Harbor style attack could end America's days as a superpower. Now, this one's a little bit scary. It's an opinion piece from the New York Post. I think I might have pulled this one up too, didn't I? Maybe not. Anyway, this is an editorial in the New York Post, not the Washington Post, because they're on strike for a day. As America's pause to reflect on Imperial Japan's brutal attack on Pearl Harbor 82 years ago Thursday, the U.S. military faces an even bigger threat coming from Asia once again. There's ample evidence that if China were to go to war against America, it would use the same strategy as Japan to try to achieve a quick and dirty victory. But with a modern twist, massive bolt from the blue attack that could in not even a day wipe out most of our military assets in the Indo-Pacific region and perhaps forever mark the end of the United States as superpower. And the saddest part of this scenario is the Biden administration is well aware of it, and it has done almost nothing to reverse the threat. First, a bit of history. Back in the 1990s, China became obsessed with trying to neutralize U.S. military power in Asia. Beijing realized they had no ability to target attacks or destroy U.S. military bases in Asia or the powerful warships that protected the vital sea lanes and commerce all over the Pacific. That problem became more acute when America and China faced off in multiple crises over Taiwan in the mid-1990s. China's leaders would find they could not even target U.S. aircraft carriers near Taiwan for a simple reason. They didn't have the technological means to locate them. U.S. bases would also be hard to target. America would dominate the battlefield in a war. China would, in time and after spending billions of dollars over several decades, come up with a solution. Beijing needed an asymmetric weapon it could build cheaply and on a large scale to counter U.S. military dominance. That meant building thousands of ever more advanced cruise and ballistic missiles. Now, there seems to be just one reason to build such a massive arsenal of deadly weapons, that if the moment came and Xi Jinping's Chinese Communist Party gave the order, Beijing would launch a massive surprise strike that could cripple the U.S. military in any scenario over Taiwan, the South China Sea, and beyond. China has enough advanced missiles to not only destroy nearly every U.S. military base in Asia quickly, but also target and attack most U.S. Navy warships in the region. Indeed, Beijing has one-of-a-kind missile platforms designed to destroy U.S. Navy aircraft carriers. Now, some experts have even declared such weapons make our mighty supercarriers, the pride and symbol of American might, as obsolete as the old battleships of the 20th century. But China wouldn't target just military assets. It would attempt to blind our armed forces, ensuring a counterattack would not be easy. Beijing lawmakers warned struggling defense industry needs to get on war footing for growing China. What? Hang on. Oh, that's a... Okay. Beijing has specialized satellite killer missiles created to go into space and knock out our military satellites, as well as commercial satellites that provide GPS data. In fact, China's missile buildup in the Indo-Pacific is so massive that even if the U.S. military moved every single missile defense asset it has globally into Asia, it would be unable to stop much of China's own version of Pearl Harbor. So what is the Biden administration doing about it? Sad reality is the U.S. defense community has widely discussed this style of attack, and Team Biden does not seem worried in the slightest. Well, because he's on the payroll. His boss assures him that nothing will happen. You know who his boss is, right? Now, despite talking a good game, American defense officials continue to call China a pacing threat, a problem that can be managed as if the threat has not arrived. Yet China continues to this day to develop even more advanced weapons that make its missiles look tame by comparison. China is building a fleet of aircraft carriers, hypersonic missiles, and more stealth fighters based on stolen U.S. designs, as well as dramatically expanding its nuclear arsenal. The good news is not all is lost. There is bipartisan consensus that China must be confronted, and America's allies are already building up their military capabilities in the region. We must do the same and fully fund new weapons. Oh, here we go. That's where this is going. Fully fund new weapons like the B-21 Raider stealth bomber, building 200 bombers or more to ensure that we can attack from range, negating Beijing's missile capabilities in many respects. Now is the time for the Biden administration to take China and the China military threat seriously and come up with a plan to mitigate it beyond phony rhetoric buzzwords. If not, and if China smells weakness like Imperial Japan did, war in Asia could once again be a part of the future. Now, this guy, who is he from? Harry J. Kazanius is a senior director for national security affairs at the Center for National Interest, founded by President Nixon, and the executive director of its publishing arm, National Interest. I don't like articles like this. By the way, I've heard that China's aircraft carriers are kind of a joke. You know, Raytheon has entered the chat. You got that too, Renee. Is this a kind of a war pig kind of guy, or is this, now I know that Russia supposedly has hypersonic missiles now and whatnot. Okay, chat, let me ask you a question. Does this just scream of neocon, warmongering, profiteering, Nikki Haley, Boeing, and senators and congressmen investing in, various defense contractor bullshit? Any military people, what do you think of this article? I don't like it. I'm skeptical of it. Anyway, war pigs got a war pig. Yeah, China carriers are a joke. Yes. Anyway, plus let's see. Lord Stanhope. NGL got a Chinese knockoff X-Wing and the shit never was able to stay together. If the Chinese build their weapons the way they build their toys and buildings, they have more to be scared of. That's what I'm thinking too. Okay, that's an interesting article. Thank you, Gunfox. I was about to start screaming. And finally, the last Gunfox article. Squad member Ayanna Pressley calls for allowing incarcerated citizens and 16-year-olds to vote. This is a Fox News article. Democrat Massachusetts Representative Ayanna Pressley, the far-left squad member, called for allowing incarcerated citizens to vote in federal elections while referencing her support for permitting individuals as young as 16 years of age to cast a ballot. Pressley made the comments during Wednesday's press conference while introducing legislation alongside Democratic Senator Peter Welch from Vermont that would restore felons' voting rights. I thought that voting rights were a state-by-state thing, weren't they? As far as convicted felons, things like that. That's not a federal. That's not a federal thing. Anyway. So that's why we're here today, to introduce the Inclusive Democracy Act. Oh my gosh, buzzword, the Buzzword Democracy Act, a historic, brand new, first of its kind bill that will end the stain of felony disenfranchisement in America and guarantee the right to vote for incarcerated and formerly incarcerated citizens. Look, if I don't know, I'm not a fan of currently incarcerated convicted felons voting. Okay, you lose some of your rights when you get sent to jail, convicted felons, right? Now, I am all for people who have served their time or conviction or whatever and have completely served their time and adjudicated whatever, coming out of prison or whatever, once they've served their sentence and become citizens again. I'm all for restoring their rights. But to have convicted felons in prison voting, and again, this is not going to look. I know they say, "Oh, our prison industrial complex. We have so many people in prison." I don't think it makes a big difference. Maybe in some states it would, I don't know. But still, they made felons, yes, avocado stabby. They mean felons still in jail. They mean felons still in jail. Like, have voting booths in the jail. Like, what are they voting for? What they're having for, what brand of cornbread mix the mess is going to use? I don't know. So she says, our bill is a reflection of bold, progressive, democratic values because of listen to this. Because of Republicans and the Supreme Court stopping at nothing to undermine voting rights and to exclude black and brown votes from participating in our democracy, where are any Republicans trying to exclude black and brown folks from participating in our democracy, our representative republic? We must be just as relentless at protecting and expanding access to the ballot box, including for incarcerated citizens, she continued. No, you lose some of your rights when you get incarcerated. Otherwise, you would not be incarcerated. You'd be running around in the streets, serving your sentence at Aunt Franny's house. In late 2022, approximately 4.6 million were unable to vote due to felony conviction, according to a study by the Sentencing Project, a nonpartisan research group. Now, are the 4.6 million people in prisons? I get it. Again, if you have, I have no problem with reinstating someone's voting rights for someone who has served their time and are out and being productive citizens. I have no problem with that. I don't think you should permanently lose your right to vote. But while you're incarcerated, are you freaking serious? The squad members pivoted on just how, oh my God. Then the squad member pivoted to how Jim Crow is not behind us and spoke her support. Are you leaving?
Where are the rest of these?
Oh, they're over there. And I got I have the bin for them. I'm going to put it. That just fell off when I brought up the.
Oh, because those clip on our lamp.
Okay, hang on a second here, guys.
Okay, love you.
Bye, honey. Have fun.
Okay, if you insist.
If you insist. Lady Boomer's on her way to revelry. I won't say where yet. But what happens there stays there. Anyway, so the squad member pivoted to how Jim Crow is not behind us and spoke of her support for allowing individuals as young as 16 to vote. Really? Really? Hello, Rotten Corpse, by the way. Really? This is incredible. How is Jim Crow not behind us, Representative Presley? I'd like you to explain that. I don't even get it. And then she says, when the former occupant of the White House can lead a violent insurrection. Gunfox, you knew what you were doing when you sent this. When the former occupant of the White House can lead a violent insurrection and still run for president, while nearly 5 million citizens can have a criminal record and not even cast a ballot, Jim Crow is not behind us, she said. Okay, first of all, and I say, if you're a convicted felon and you've served your time, I don't have any problem with restoring your voting rights. Okay. Our democracy is on the line, she says, and the stakes could not be higher. As a Boston City Councilor prior to my time here in Congress, I was proud to advocate for expanded access to the ballot box. What do you mean by expanded access? Look, everyone who is eligible to vote can vote. Just because they don't vote doesn't mean anything. And so she's just telling her bona fides of what she's done. She's an unfortunate person. I got to tell you, you're killing me. All right, let me give you some headlines and we're going to get out of here. I didn't get to the articles, but we're going to move on. Except for Joe Biden lied his ass off. You know, I need that clip from Eddie Murphy when in Beverly Hills Cop at the end of the movie where he tells Taggart You was lying your ass off. I need that clip because I'm going to show this clip of Joe Biden lying his ass off. So Joe Biden was did a little presser thing yesterday, and it was for something. I don't even know what it was for. And a reporter asked him a question about his son's business. And I think this is the clip right here. Let's see if this is it. Hang on.
Ukraine and also China. There is polling by the Associated Press that shows that almost 70% of Americans, including 40% of Democrats, believe that you acted either illegally or unethically in regards to your family's business interests. Can you explain to the Americans, amid this impeachment inquiry, why you interacted with so many of your son and brother's foreign business associates?
The question is, can you explain why you interacted with so many of your son's business associates? Now, before he answers this question, let's just say there's tons of evidence and actually photos of him interacting with his son's business associates. There are letters. They have the new emails when he used the pseudonym emails, the fake emails to correspond with them. With over 300 of those they found all kinds of things about Joe Biden interacting with his son's business associates. So the question is, why were you interacting so much with your son's business associates if you had nothing to do with your son's business associates? And here is how Joe Biden answers the question. And this is the end of a presser or briefing or some shit. Listen how he answers and how he reacts.
I'm not going to comment that I did not, and it's just a bunch of lies.
A bunch of lies. Well, hey, Joe, you.
Lying dog faced pony soldier.
And then he walks away and doesn't take any more questions. To which any smart person would say, bullshit, 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 bullshit. So anyway, there's a whole, this is a whole article, Miranda Devine, editorial writer at the New York Post, talking about Joe Biden offering bald-faced lies to all of America about his family's affairs, which that's drip, drip, drip. I think this might be what forces Democrats to take him out. I shouldn't have said that. Take him out of the race. Now his handlers are going to say, Joe, you need to pull a Lyndon Johnson. Because it's all just drip, drip, dripping, and it's all coming at the right time. And that's why they're not fighting it as much. And again, here it is. Biden says the emails, bank records, whistleblowers, and testimony proving his involvement in his family business are a bunch of lies. So there's a whole, this is the Federalist, has a whole article on it. And just going through all of the evidence that they've seen. And again, and he's been saying it since he was campaigning for president, and he continues to lie about it. And the drip, drip, drip is continuing to fall down. Apparently, in the Daily Caller, a federal judge hands a huge victory to Trump in a bid to remove him from the Arizona ballot. So these state initiatives to remove Donald Trump from the ballot in many states have all been failing. A federal judge dismissed a case Tuesday seeking to remove former President Donald Trump from Arizona's presidential ballot. There's more details on that in the article. PJ Media, Jim Jordan has made a study claim about Fani Willis. We already talked about it. And we've seen the letter that Fani Willis sent to the January 6th committee, and they're doing some investigation of that. More details in the article. Also in the Federalist, House Republicans probe collusion between January 6th committee and Georgia Trump prosecutors. So 2 articles on that. In the Daily Wire, John Kirby wrecks an Arab reporter for claiming Israel is a terrorist state. Let's just do this real quick.
So the UN expressed that there is no safe zones in the south, and now Israel is encouraging people to move more to the south. Collective punishment again, and we're going to see more civilians dying in the south because there is no safe zones.
We don't want to see a single more civilian killed. We don't want to see a single more civilian injured. We don't want to see
this is
damage to civilian
Biden
infrastructure like hospitals. And we have made that case, and we'll continue to make that case to our Israeli counterparts.
Was that it? Is that destroying him? Oh, here it is, right here.
We don't want to see, but nothing is changing on the ground. The CNN producer lost 9 members of his family today, killing journalists. Over 60 journalists died on the ground, even in South Lebanon. They're not a target. They were clearly journalists. What's really happening? So if we call Hamas a designated terrorist group killing civilians as a non-sector player, is it also Israel acting like a terror state, killing humans, civilians, unarmed people, journalists every day?
So again, we don't want to see civilian casualties. And just one more point. It's okay. I don't know if this is going to answer your question, but Hamas deliberately slaughtered and murdered some 1,200 people on the 7th of October. And it seems like we're all willing to forget that. Deliberately.
Active war.
Intent. And to take hostages.
Active war.
That was the purpose of the whole thing on the 7th. Now, we've been very honest with our Israeli counterparts. We want them to be careful, cautious, deliberate. We don't want to see any more civilians harmed on this. But they have a right and a responsibility to defend themselves against that very genocidal threat. And it is not the Israeli Defense Forces strategy to kill innocent people. It's happening, I admit that. Each one's a tragedy, but it's not like the Israelis are sitting around every morning and saying, hey, how many more civilians can we kill today? Let's go bomb a school or a hospital or a residential building and cause civilian casualties. They're not doing that. They're trying to go after Hamas, and it's a very difficult task. When Hamas, oh, by the way, in addition to deliberately slaughtering people, is deliberately hiding themselves in residential buildings, in hospitals, in tunnels, putting the innocent people of Gaza directly in the crossfire. Now, you tell me, is that right?
All right, so the answer, the link is in the chat, or it will be in the chat in a moment here. Right? But I wanted to highlight that because of that answer. In the Daily Caller, look, I'm not even going through these. I don't have time. There's a whole bunch of more articles that'll be in the links in the one tab link, but I got to end the show today. So, plethora of news. There's a ton of news. Hopefully, you'll get to see some of it. But that link will be in the chat during the outro and in the description of both Rumble and YouTube. Several other articles we didn't get to. So, guys, thank you so much for being here on this Thursday edition of the Morning Night Live here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. Please share the stream after the show. And next show you can share it during the show, and you can share it before the show if you get the notification in time, like some of you obviously always do. Thank you so much to everyone who joined us in the chat today. Thanks to our superstar sponsor of the day, Gunfox61. And welcome, Scoot, a new subscriber on the channel, and anyone who else is new here. I really appreciate you. But this is the time that I got to go. So thank you. I got to leave. My name is P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Links will be in the link to the links will be in the chat. Have a wonderful day. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.